What's going on? It's SFT back with another video. This time it's going to be based on this current NFL draft. First round, a little bit of the second round, and we're going to be talking about Shedeur Sanders and him dropping really deep in the NFL draft. Potentially not going to get drafted at all, but you don't know what's going to happen. Before getting into the video, please like, subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And let's get into it. So, if we look at right now at this screen, and this has been an interesting draft. Hasn't been the most talented one. A lot of prospects getting drafted. A lot of guys who, I wouldn't even say they had great years, but they're good players. They had a good year the year before, and it is what it is. Like, they're the best we can take right now. Number one overall, Cameron Ward, Tennessee Titans. I love the pick. I thought it was a great pick for them in terms of a quarterback that's greatly different and far more mature than their previous quarterback. They actually needed a franchise quarterback for some time. I didn't like the fact that after Ryan Tannehill left, they just try to pick quarterback in the second round. You don't pick great quarterbacks in the second round. You have to go to the first round, top 15, and that's where you hit for it, especially a quarterback that you want. But they picked him up. Great idea. Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Hunter, I expected that to happen. They said he's going to be playing more wide receiver than he is going to be playing quarterback, as they selected a quarterback in the second round. I like this pick too. If you're Jacksonville, like, I don't even know what to say, man. It's a disastrous year, new regime. Hopefully everything can be good, right? New York Giants, Abdul Carter. I didn't like this. I did not like this, because I looked at their offensive line and thought, look, you guys have a missing Evan Neal. You have an opportunity to go pick up a quarterback right now, right? You need to hit on it right now. It's not about you picking up the best player. It really isn't. Like, you had came out with Thibodeau. He's on his 5th-year option. They don't know if they're in the chamber or not. You have a guy like, excuse me, I forgot his name, but the guy who came from the Panthers who got a $140 million contract, maybe around there. You have that guy, right? You have your defensive tackle, all-pro, excellent defensive tackle the previous year, and he's here. You don't need more defensive line help. You really don't. You don't even need more line. I would personally put that into a linebacker. I would personally put that into definitely a corner, right? That's the first place I would look on this defense, not the defensive line. And most importantly, go get a quarterback. Daniel Jones left. You have a top 3 pick. Go get a damn quarterback, man. You have an opportunity to get any quarterback that you want outside of Cameron Ward, right? So, I didn't really like this pick up Abdul Carter. Great player. Can bring a lot of pressure off the edge, but I was just not a fan of this pick, and it screamed ineptitude. When I look at this New York Giant regime, especially this new one, with Brian Daboll and Sean, their general manager, right? They failed the last 2 years to rebuild this team. You need to rebuild. You don't go later on, go get another court. No, you need to rebuild right now. And it just has a stench to it that they're preparing for a future that they're not guaranteed. Like, these guys have not done enough to get a future with the New York Giants. Yet, they pass up on him and they pick up a guy like Abdul Carter. I like the pick in terms of he's a great player. You can pick up the best player. But I'm just not a big fan of it, especially they could have helped that offensive line a little bit more. Right? You could have picked up a guy like Will Campbell in the offensive line to help that offensive line, right? Could have picked up a quarterback. Really disappointed. New England Patriots, Will Campbell, love it. I don't have to say much about it. Cleveland Browns, Mason Graham, love it. I'm actually a fan of this. Bolster up the defensive tackle line. Bolster up your defensive line. Do you have a need at quarterback? Yes. I would have liked if you took a quarterback right here, but they moved down, which showed they were not interested in any quarterbacks, and they were willing to allow a team to move up, and they allowed Jacksonville to move up. So I don't dislike this at all. They clearly see that they had nobody they were too interested in. Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Agenti. I dislike this so much. To me, this reeks of another team, no different than the Giants, right? Who just don't understand who the hell they are. Bro, you guys don't need a running back, bro. You guys don't need a better running back. You had a good running back last year. He was really good. He was pretty tough the year before. You had a good running back in Josh Jacobs. You don't need a number 7 overall running back. This guy, he's a good player, right? But you need to potentially look to do what the Atlanta Falcons did. Take a backup quarterback, right? Look to do something of that nature. However, you pick up a running back. To me, it's just such a low IQ move. It's such a fucking Las Vegas Raiders move. New York Jets pick up Armand Bambao. Offensive tackle Missouri, love it. They needed to bolster up their offensive line. Poor last year, dealing with several injuries last year, the year before too. Get someone healthy in, get some quality in. You got a guy in. Carolina Panthers, Taro, McMillan, whatever. from Arizona. Loved their wide receiver pick. Loved it because they haven't had an elite number one wide receiver for some time. Their best wide receiver last year was Adam Thielen, and he's gonna come back, yes, but he should not be the main option. They had a bunch of scrubs. With all due respect, man, man, they had a bunch of scrubs in their receiving room. Okay, this is about time to add some quality to their receiving room. Some people were saying this guy wasn't gonna get picked in the top 10. I don't know what they were talking about. This is a team, Carolina Panthers, clearly need a wide receiver. They got one. Great job. New Orleans Saints, Kelvin Banks Jr., love it. Offensive tackle, bolster up your offensive line. Personally, right, outside of the player, right, because I love the player. Now in terms of the pick, I would have picked up a guy like Shedeur Sanders there. You really need a quarterback, man. Like, you have Derek Carr. Like, this is not the future. You're in a division with Baker Mayfield, Michael Penix Jr., Bryce Young, teams that have their future quarterback, or teams that are looking to further build with that quarterback in. You have Derek Carr, who's coming to the end of his career. You really need a quarterback right here, and for you to take an offensive tackle, I just wasn't too big of a fan of it. Chicago Bears, Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. I actually wasn't a fan of this, too. Like, a couple of ones I'm just not a fan of early. Wasn't a fan of it. I thought that you already have a freaking good tight end. You already have a good tight end. You don't need more weapons. Get something for your offensive line, right? That would be great if you could get something for your offensive line, or get yourself a running back. But man, like, for you to bring in a tight end, he's a very good tight end. Very good. Is he generational? No. Is he a good tight end? Absolutely, right? Underwhelming years because they didn't have a quarterback last year, right? But I'm just not a fan of this pick, man. Like, you don't need more weapons right now. You need to focus on your offensive line, drafting offensive linemen. I remember last year we watched Caleb Williams get drafted right after a wide receiver was drafted for the Bears, and you could have picked the offensive lineman then. You need to prioritize offensive linemen, drafting them, developing them. They're not something you can only pick up in free agency, and I didn't like this pick, man. You had an opportunity to go get a guy like Tyler Booker that Dallas Cowboys picked up. I'm grabbing that. Crazy. Michael Williams went to San Francisco 49ers. Like the pick. Had a down year a little bit, right? But I like the pick overall. A lot of these guys had somewhat of a down year, right? It is what it is, man. It's not the most talented draft. Tyler Booker, I like this pick too. I really like this pick for the Dallas Cowboys. You just had a guy like Zach Martin leave. I made a video about it. A guy like Zach Martin leaving, your offensive line has such a huge hole in it. You need to make up for the talent. Your tackle Steele is not playing good. He's on a big contract too, so you need a draft lineman. You really need to prioritize that. Don't go after no receivers. Get linemen, and they got one. I like it. I love it. I'm happy about this. Miami Dolphins, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Michigan, love it. Absolutely love it. As a Dolphins fan, I'm so happy about this pick. I love it. I just love it, man. Bolster up that interior. They're going to stop running the ball so hard on us. Hard-working, tough guy, can push the interior, gets to the ball, soaks up double teams. I just love this pick, man. Indianapolis Colts, Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State. I'll be honest with you. I'm neutral on this pick. Great tight end. To me, he's the tight end I like the most. He could block, he could pass. The guy was so talented. If you watch his USC game, I watched it live. This guy's so amazing. Like, he can do everything. Like, what can't he do? He's so good. Great at catching the ball in coverage. He's a dog. And this is somebody that Indianapolis Colts could definitely work with. Now, looking at their offensive line, they lost two offensive linemen this offseason. I was hoping that they would pick up a guy like an offensive lineman or move up a little bit. But they didn't, and they chose to pick Tyler Ward. It is what it is. Jalen Walker goes to Atlanta Falcons. Don't have any issues with this. They got an edge. They needed to generate pressure last year, struggled to do so. So this year, hopefully, he can help them and bolster them in generating pressure. Walter Nolan, Arizona Cardinals, defensive tackle. I actually really like this pick. Another pick I really like. He was highly touted coming out of high school, went to Texas A&M, then went to Mississippi to close everything out. Disappointing end of the year, didn't make the college football playoff, but he's a great player, man. You match him with Sweat. You look at their line, like, they have a pretty competent defense. I really like bolstering the interior, and Calais Campbell coming back to be an OG to the whole unit. I like this, man. I really like this. This defensive line is something we're going to have to watch out for next year. Cincinnati Bengals, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. I like this too. I was hoping they could pick up an offensive lineman. Just hoping, but whatever. Shamar Stewart, I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of this game. Get anything on defense, please. Just draft anything on defense. Please save this defense. And I was looking at this draft thinking the Bengals really need to just focus on defense because they didn't spend a lot of money this offseason on defense. Like they always do. Like they never spend money on defense for some reason. Seattle Seahawks, Gray Zabel. And you know what's interesting about the Cincinnati Bengals too? They haven't traded Trey Hendrickson. No different than Miami. They haven't traded Jalen Ramsey. You guys need to trade them during draft day, man. You could be rebuilding your team right now with those picks. I don't know what's up with some of these teams. Seattle Seahawks, Gray Zabel. I love the pick. Love the pick guard. North Dakota State gave up some of the most sacks last year. Him, overall solid. Competition questionable, but they have a history of developing good players, North Dakota State. And up there in general, in that conference. So, I think he'll be fine, man. Tampa Bay, Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver, Ohio State. I'm actually curious about this pick. Mike Evans is still here. Chris Godwin's still here, coming off a little bit of an injury, but stayed. It took a pay cut. What the hell is he doing here? More offensive weapons. I personally would put that into the defense, right? Go get yourself a quarter. Alex Carlton Davis left the year before, right? And last year, I mean, your quarterback was pretty solid, right? But you could always add a little bit more to that. Go looking for a linebacker. I don't know. Potentially something to foresee. Levante David, I believe. Somebody to just look after that. You could go get yourself some interior help. They already have quite a decent defensive line, but there's been a lot more to be wanted from that defense in general, especially from the coaching aspect, you know, losing to Washington. But I think they could have done that. But to pick up a wide receiver, he's a talented wide receiver, yes. Is he going to be a successful plan? Most likely. I'm still kind of not a fan of it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of it. Look for defense right now. Denver Broncos, Barron, quarterback, Texas. Like the pick. The only thing I'd have a question is, I guess, is adding just more depth into that quarterback unit, as you already have, you know, Patrick Surtain, you have Riley Moss, and now you have him, and I believe you had another slot corner, so I believe he's going to be playing around that slot position, as a guy like Riley Moss is getting more minutes, as he did play the early half of last year. I'll be interested to see it, man. Derek Harbaugh, defensive tackle, Oregon, so instead of taking Alex Shedeur-Sanders, they take a defensive tackle. Not a fan of this at all. You really need a quarterback. I don't know what this team's doing, man. Pittsburgh Steelers are like, yo, you really need a quarterback. You guys really need a quarterback, and you're just going after more defensive linemen, defensive players. Probably, I wouldn't be shocked if they even went for a receiver. It would make no sense, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, what's the plan here? Amarian Hampton, running back, Los Angeles Chargers. What's interesting about the Los Angeles Chargers, they picked up Najee Harris, they picked up this guy, and I don't really see a use for it. You look at their team, right? You need wide receivers. So that's what kind of disappointed me a little bit about the Green Bay Packers. Matthew Golden, wide receiver, Texas. Like the pick, have nothing bad to say about it. You need a little bit of explosivism. And another guy you can add to this wide receiver group. I remember Josh Jacobs' comment saying, we need a superstar wide receiver. Do I think he can be that? Probably not. But he's more quality in that receiving group that can get open, that can make plays, that can really take that next step up. Really. The Minnesota Vikings pick up Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. Great pickup overall. They already brought in 2 offensive linemen from the Colts to bolster up this offensive line that got absolutely murdered by the Rams in the playoffs. New York Giants, Jackson Dart, QB, Mississippi. I'm personally not a fan of this at all, man. But when I kept hearing Jackson Dart's moving up the leaderboard, I was like, Jackson Dart? Are we serious? Are we serious right now? Not a bad quarterback. You know, I think he's decent. Like, his team had so much talent on it for the last couple of years that it's really hard to evaluate a quarterback like that. That's why I'm not a part of this whole, like, just concept of you need to look at quarterbacks who play on the best teams, best systems, and we can see how good of a quarterback they are. Well, that shows you the limit that they have, right? And a guy like Jackson Dart, I looked at him in that system in Mississippi for the period of time he was. I thought to myself, he's a good quarterback. He's a good college quarterback. Is he NFL worthy? First round pick worthy? No. If you watch that Florida game, like, that to me, that to me is a depiction of not just him, but Ole Miss when it comes time to step up. When it's time for them to step up, they find a way to break down. And for a guy, a 50-year quarterback, a guy who's been playing for such a long time, Ole Miss, I believe he played for the last 3 years, left USC, came to Ole Miss, right? He's okay. He's okay. I like if he were to be a third round pick, I think that'd be perfect for him. Right where Jalen Milroe was picked, I think that'd be great for him for his development. But for right here, like it's such a New York Giants pick. It's such a New York Giants pick. Like another quarterback. Is he bad? No. Is he a project? No. Is he gonna be anything good? No. Could you have gotten someone on the free agency market that's better than him? Like Sam Darnold? Yes! Yes, you could have. Is his ceiling quite low? Yes. Is the floor a little bit high? Yeah. I think you're going to get a decent guy, right? But worth a 25th overall pick to move up? Absolutely not, just delusional. James Pierce Jr., edge, Atlanta Falcons. Two edge players for the Atlanta Falcons moved up. I love it. I love it. Get that pressure. I like what I was seeing. Baltimore Ravens, Malachi Starks, Georgia. Love it. Great free agent, great safety pickup. A guy who I want to say they really needed, but definitely with the departure of Williams, Marcus Williams, with how everything unfolded last year and how he kind of just got cut out of the lineup. Great pickup for them, so they can move on from him. Tyreek Williams, defensive tackle, Ohio State. Love it. It's so funny when I see like Michigan, go Michigan, like teams in Michigan. I mean, it's only the Detroit Lions, right? Go after players from Ohio State, and then Ohio State or Ohio area or Ohio teams go after Michigan players. Love it. Washington Commanders, Josh Cardinelli, offensive tackle, Oregon. Really like this pickup. Got in, damn, I forgot his name, but he was a left tackle for the Houston Texans. So they made a commitment to working on the offensive line, and they did. Maxwell Hairston, quarterback, Kentucky. I love this pick too. Really a fan of him. Bolster up that quarterback room, right? A guy for the future. Will really like it. They also have some guys that they paid in that quarterback room, so they can definitely mentor him and develop him. Jihad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. Like this picture too. I would say like second half of last year is quite disappointing. Early half, like he was looking like a top 10 pick. But I'm happy for the Eagles in terms of picking him up. Great pickup. Now for Kansas City Chiefs, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. I like this pick too. I really like this pick. I think overall it's a good decision. You lost or you traded your offensive lineman to the Bears, right? And now you have an opportunity to pick one up. So I'm a fan of this overall. Hopefully you can develop him. He can be the guy that the previous lineman who was really good for you for a couple of years, 4 years. He was very good for you. And you just trade him. Hopefully, I believe his name was Joe Thuney. I might not be right, but I believe his name was Joe Thuney. Hopefully he can be maybe 75% of the player he was. But we'll see. We'll see how they develop it. They do a great job. That's all I have to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. Subscribe. Take care. Peace.